Hi, welcome to Above Deck, a below deck breakdown podcast. I'm Sarah Goldman, a photographer and former marine biologist living in Charleston, South Carolina. With me, as always, is my college roommate and co-host, Kelli.
I'm Kelli Busbey, an executive assistant and former radio host, coming to you from my home studio in Columbus, Ohio. Together, Sarah and I hosted the Socks with Sandals radio show on WFAL in Bowling Green, Ohio, and we are back again this week to discuss Below Deck and our love of all things Bravo. Today, we'll be discussing Below Deck Season 12, Episode 5, Rainbow Kisses and Friendship Wishes.
Here's your recap. Fraser questions his long-distance relationship, and Kyle and Celine go on a date. Chef Anthony struggles with PTSD from the last charter season as he prepares for dinner with Captain Kerry. Captain Kerry ponders Kaio's shortcomings as bosun. Kelli, how many shackles did you give this episode?
I gave it 9 because we are
Mm.
now like getting in to the
Hmm.
season. So relationships are starting to form,
Yeah,
both romantic and otherwise. So no, it was a good
yeah.
episode.
Yeah, we're into the groove for sure.
Yeah.
And we had a firing, so that's always kind of exciting.
There we go.
Okay, so Kyle is falling hard for Celine. I think she's gonna break his heart, right?
And like he said, he will never learn. I do think that she will break his heart. And I think it's safe to say that he has a type, strong brunettes.
Strong brunettes, gorgeous brunettes. Yeah, absolutely.
Barbie, Celine.
Celine. Fraser is questioning this long distance relationship with his boyfriend, but he doesn't see an issue with making out with straight friends. That seems to be okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. He tells Damo the next morning, just remembered we kissed last night and followed that up with a kiss and a hug. I love it. I don't know. I feel like it's different.
Yeah, it was cute. I like just like they put it all out there. It wasn't awkward. It is
Yeah.
what it is. And then he
Yeah.
even like kisses Kyle hello in the morning.
Oh, yeah. It was
Yeah.
kisses all around that morning.
Yeah. How many times is Celine gonna fall down those stairs? Like, slow down, girl.
I'm worried for her. I'm concerned, but I think so far she has fallen at least once per episode
I think so too. I mean, I would sprain my ankle if I did what she's
for
doing.
sure. She just
Crazy.
bounces right back up. It's
She
impressive.
does. Captain Kerry takes them all to brunch in St. Bart's. This was lovely.
I was worried about this because when I hear half day off and brunch in the same
Hmm.
sentence, you know what you're thinking. Like they're gonna be drunk by noon. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So I was expecting to see a table full of mimosas and Bloody
Hmm.
Marys, but they were good. They had like coffees, and I mean, I don't know if there was booze in them, but I was
Hmm.
pretty impressed. And
Yeah.
did you see Jess eating out of a coconut bowl?
Oh, do you think it's from our sponsor, Coconut Bowls?
I think so.
Could be. Rainbow is feeling left out because Barbara and Celine are really growing quite close.
I hate that feeling. And it still happens even as an adult.
It does, yeah. It's like three is always a crowd, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always
It's
one
just
person
awkward.
that generally feels kind of left out.
Yeah.
Um, we have a bunch more of the ooh la la's when the food comes. Um,
Yeah.
is it just me? I did not realize that French people really say that. I thought it was something, Americans would say when they're trying to pretend like they're French.
Right.
But I was thinking we should call my friend Dana from home. She's a French
Yeah.
teacher and she lived in France and just
Oh,
ask her. Is that okay?
okay. Yeah, let's do
Okay.
it.
Okay, hang on.
Hey,
Hey.
I've been waiting.
Okay. You're
Hi,
you're
Dana.
live. You're on the podcast. Kelli, can you hear her?
I can, yes.
Okay.
Could she hear me?
Okay. Okay, so here's the question. We are in St. Martin on a yacht. I mean, not Kelli and I right now personally, but this season of Below Deck, and we have a French chef and we have a French stew, and they are always saying multiple times per episode, like "ooh la la, ooh la la." Is that something that French people really say?
French people really say it, but not in the way that Americans think they mean it. They mean it as like, oh my God, or that's crazy, or I can't believe you
Oh,
just did that, or oh, that's like more of us as a surprise or a
Okay.
mess, or it's not romantic at all.
Oh,
got
okay.
it.
Yeah, they said it when like some food came that was really good, I think.
Yeah, so maybe something like that, but it's not this like sugary, oh da da, like something like that. It might be like, oh là là, je ne crois pas que tu l'as fait. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Or something that's like surprise, but it could be surprise in a good way, surprise in a bad way, but it is
Okay.
definitely not romantic.
Okay, that's really funny. That's good to know. And
Oh, that's
I love
awesome.
that they actually say it. Okay, will you say something in French like you're listening to the Above Deck podcast with Sarah and Kelli or something like that?
Sure. Vous écoutez le podcast Above Deck avec Sarah et Kelly. Bonne écoute.
Ah, I love it.
I love it.
Thank you. Okay, well, you're at Girl Scouts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll let you get back to the Girl Scouts and
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
bye, Danny.
Ah, that was so cool.
That was cool. Could you hear it okay?
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Okay. Okay, well now we know. So it's like an element of surprise and it's not like sexy type
So it's
thing.
like when we would say OMG.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so
I just hit
funny.
my microphone.
I love that.
Sorry.
I do love, since they were in St. Bart's and so many of them speak French, I loved
Yeah.
them like sitting there ordering in French is like very sexy.
I love that. I think that's so neat.
So after they eat, it's time to go shopping. Fraser says, "Mommy's ready to spendy spendy."
Was that an Hermes bag that Fraser had in his
Ooh,
hand when they left the
maybe that
shop?
orange bag.
Yeah, it was like a darker orange than a Louis. So I don't
Mm,
know. Like
that could be.
Mhm.
Fraser,
Yeah.
report back.
And then Kyle wasn't allowed to go into the shops because he didn't have any shoes on. Kyle, how are you there without shoes on?
He was in a
Like
restaurant without shoes. I mean, they came by boat, but good
everybody
for
else had shoes on.
I don't know.
Kyle.
Okay, so back to the boat. Carey says, "Chop, chop, like we got to get through this bridge, like we got to get the anchor up." And Kaio is not chop, chop, chopping.
Kaio. You are not helping yourself, my friend. And
No.
this is
Okay.
after Captain talked to him, correct?
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, we are on like a tight schedule. We got to get after it." Yeah. Okay. So back to St. Martin. Kyle's not really paying attention during the docking. There's not enough communication for Captain Kerry, and one of the fenders was in the right place when they're going through the bridge, but then it wasn't in the right place when they got to the dock. And Captain Kerry's basically having to drive the boat and look at everything himself.
Yeah.
And he calls Kaio to the bridge, like right after that. And so he goes over the mistakes that were made, during the docking, and he warns Kaio, like, this is your last chance. Like, I am going to be watching you this charter.
I feel like he may be listening to Captain, but I don't feel like he's hearing what he says. I think,
Hmm.
and I also think he knows his days are numbered, and I feel like he's already checked out.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Didn't Fraser say this episode, it goes in one ear and out one curl? Like when he says something. So good.
Yes.
So Kaio has a little deck team meeting and he's really just spreading the blame around. And he told Jess the fender's all her fault. But okay, maybe it was her fault, but Kaio didn't catch it. Like he didn't see that needed to be done. It was Captain Kerry that caught it.
I don't like him blaming everyone and not
Yeah.
accepting any of the blame himself.
Yeah, it's not a good look
What is
for
that?
someone that's in charge.
Right?
Damo said sometimes he sees something that Kaio's doing wrong and he just lets it happen, because it's like, well, it's on him. I assume it's not something like super dangerous, but remember, like, we've had deckhands that will say something to the bosun and they always get shot down. Like, I'm in
Yeah.
charge. Like, Chase tried to do it with Gary.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
I can
true.
see why you wouldn't necessarily want to speak up unless it's like a danger situation.
Yeah, you're right. He would because he's a subordinate, so you wouldn't want
Yeah.
to. Yeah, makes sense. But
Okay. We have a preference sheet meeting and we have a
yes,
family. I love a family.
yay!
Jack
Yes.
Finn and his wife, their adult sons, and then I think his brother, and then nieces and nephews. And so he's a retired engineer and he owns a sailboat. So these are boat
Fun.
people.
Love
Um,
it.
Darlene unfortunately broke her arm recently. That would really stink right before you're going on a yacht.
Gosh,
They're
right?
going to be celebrating their 20th anniversary and
Mm.
they need two beach excursions, a full moon party, beach volleyball. I was very surprised when Fraser said he loves beach volleyball because
Mm-hmm.
remember when Captain Sandy took over for Captain Lee that season, she forced them to play volleyball as a
Yeah.
like team building activity, and Fraser would not do it. I think he had a hurt foot. That was his excuse anyway. But
Yes.
yeah.
But did you notice he didn't play? He was
Hmm.
the referee.
Yeah.
So here's my thinking behind it. Have you ever watched men's beach volleyball
Well, of
before?
course. Yes.
Okay. I mean, their shorts are longer than what the ladies
Hmm.
wear,
Hmm.
but whatever.
Not cool.
Or like even regular men's volleyball, these are some fine men
So
to
that's
look
what
at.
he meant when he said he loved beach volleyball.
I think that's what he meant.
Okay,
And I get
not that
it.
he loves to play it. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it
Got
is
it.
fun to watch. It's fun. I've never played it before. I don't think I could do it. But
Yeah, I love men's beach volleyball. I love men's rugby.
ooh, yes, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yes, it is. Okay, so we have date night with Kyle and Celine, and they talk about love and past relationships, and then it starts raining, which, rain always makes everything sexier.
The photo of them was really hot. Did you catch her talking about when you are dead in the box, when you're in your dead box, you're alone? So, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, dead
Y-
box. Got it.
You're
Okay.
alone, so you might as well do whatever you want while you're alive. I guess that was the
Great.
point. Like, live for the now, be in the moment. So, in your dead
YOLO.
box. Yeah. Okay. So, by the way, I meant to mention this last week, but Dylan from last season, who was Celine's ex, he
Yeah.
did chime in on the socials a couple weeks ago.
Oh
Um,
dear.
and so this is what he said. Celine, I forgave you. I am at peace with the situation, but you can't say on TV we broke up because of distance. Did you forget about all the guys you hooked up with on Love Island while we dated? I'm
Oh
not
dear.
angry, but you can't say you didn't cheat on me. It's in the past, and now it's caught up to you. Don't be untruthful.
Ah,
So,
yikes.
yeah.
Okay.
So, but I mean, why would she go on Love Island when she had a boyfriend? I don't know.
I don't
Interesting.
know.
Very interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so there's some talk about Anthony changing rooms. Why? Or like, why would
Yeah.
he not go in another room to begin with if Fraser was supposed to have his own room?
Yeah. And I don't know. He did mention something about Fraser having his own room, but and I'm wondering if doesn't the Chiefs do usually have their own room?
On
I
this boat, I think, because I think
yeah.
Fraser had it last season.
I'm just wondering if Anthony would like some space away from him.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe they kind of knew, maybe this could have been out of order. Maybe what's his face had already been fired, and so there was going to be an extra spot somewhere else. I don't know.
Uh
I could see this being a little out of order, but this
yeah.
seemed kind of like
Yeah.
out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyle suggests that he and Celine go to the guest cabin after their date. As we recall, this is a no-no on Captain Kerry's ship. So I think it's assumed that they dropped anchor, and we find out the next day that that is the case.
Man, they shared. I mean, they didn't go into detail, but they did not like play coy about anything.
No, there's no secrets on a boat.
Yeah.
So Fraser gets the scoop at the stew meeting. Well, they all do really. And Fraser says, Celine must be the one to clean the master. I agree.
Absolutely.
And then they cut to her scrubbing a stain on the mattress cover. This was a little too graphic for me, and I was thinking, get out the black light.
What in the actual hell?
Also,
I'm
let's
I'm
wash
kind of
that cover. Let's not just dab at it with a brush.
right. So I'm hoping that this was an edit from a different charter.
Oh, let's
I'm
hope so.
really hoping
Yeah, that's
because
gross.
that's nasty.
Yeah. Okay, so
Blech.
Fraser calls his boyfriend. He steps off the boat. We don't hear the conversation, and they broke things off. Like they're not together anymore.
It sounds like he said it was the right person, just the wrong time. So
Yeah.
hopefully their paths will cross again when it's better timing for both of them because he did seem
Yeah.
really genuinely caring for this person. It's just they were never near each other.
Yeah. No, I think it was very grown up, the whole situation.
Yeah.
Okay, we have guest arrival. Darlene's arm is in a sling, and Fraser offers that they will unpack for her. So that's
She
nice.
was so sweet about it too, because she
Yeah.
said, normally I would say no, but if you don't mind, they were
Yeah.
classy. I love
Yeah, I
these
liked him.
guests.
Captain Kerry talks to Jess about Kaio when they go do the setup for the beach excursion, and she's very honest with him that she's not confident in his ability to lead and be organized and stuff.
I think that was a smart move on his part because I think
Hmm.
he's sizing her up to be bosun.
Yeah, that's what it seems like for sure.
I also want to know, can we please go to Mullet Beach? It looks divine,
It does.
beautiful
And I'm guessing Mullet Beach is there's fish called mullet, but obviously I'm
because of
picturing
the
the
hair.
hair and like Keith Stone on the beach. So, okay, we have the beach volleyball set up and then lunch.
And that lunch looked amazeballs, right?
Yeah, it did. It's much higher quality than what we usually have for like a beach setup, you know.
Yeah. And they
Um,
loved it.
so the two volleyball teams are the Deckterior versus the Turnpike Troubadours. I love that word, troubadour. And
It's not
as you
used enough.
mentioned, Fraser's the referee.
Hmm.
I love the phone call with Captain Kerry and his daughter, and she's doing a project for school on Australia. I thought that was so cute.
So sweet. Now, are the kids in the US?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
they live in
okay.
Florida.
Oh, fun. Okay. I wasn't sure about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
he was answering the questions real quick. I loved it. It was great. So, another question I had for Captain, how many coffees and espressos do you think he has in a day?
Oh gosh, I bet he
That
has
I mean, they showed
minimum
three.
five, but
Yeah.
yeah, we should
Captain
ask
Kerry,
him
we
how
have
many.
questions.
Yeah, a lot. So the guests love the lunch, and Jess tries to talk to Kaio again about the whole break situation in front of the other deckhands, and he won't let the deck team have a break. Even though like the guests are sitting down and eating, it would be an ideal time for someone to have a break. He finally
Absolutely.
agrees to schedule breaks each morning, like to have a meeting in the morning with the deck team. Like, this is just a no-brainer.
This is another thing I don't like about him. Him and not letting them take breaks. Look,
Not
and
cool.
and his reasoning was the interior team's not having a break. And they're like, "Well, they're working right now.
Yeah,
The guests are occupied. Can we please go sit in the shade somewhere?" Like,
right.
that's not fair. They
Kyle
should have
looked
had a chance
really
to breathe.
tired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not cool. And I mean, just working out in the heat all day, it's a very long day for them.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
exhausting.
back to the boat. Captain Carey's going to be joining for dinner. And the last time Anthony cooked dinner for Captain Carey was with the guests. It didn't go well. This was the Jill Zarin charter. The food was cold, timing was terrible. It just did not go well for him.
So Anthony, he's trying to psych himself up and he says
Mhm.
he needs to do an eyebrow check and get to it. I love it. I have absolute full confidence in him that he's just going to knock it out. It's going to be
Yeah.
great.
Fraser tries to tell Anthony, like, I'm here for you. You don't need to stress. And Anthony feels like he's bossing him around in this moment. I think a lot of this is the stuff that Anthony is bringing in from last season and from what he heard from Barbie. You know, they
Yeah.
really need to have that chat. I suspect it's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
Um, so tonight is the Havana Nights dinner. Very cool.
I loved the decor.
Hmm.
Love it was
I
great.
love
They did
their
a really nice
outfits with the
job.
hats and everything. Super cute. I liked how Darlene told her children to be on their best behavior, like no burping or anything. And
Captain's joining us. Behave.
yes, be good. It's like when you're having dinner with your grandmother, you're
Yes.
like, brush your hair, sit up straight, put your napkin in your lap. Rainbow tries to connect with Celine, but Celine feels like it's very forced. And it was.
It was so cringy, Sarah. Like I get
Yeah,
she's trying to she knows she kind of singed the bridge.
right.
So she's trying to mend that and she
Hmm.
sees like the other girls being all lovey-lovey.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, you
she's
can't force
forcing
a
something.
relationship like that.
No. No.
So, yeah. They have red velvet cake for their anniversary, and afterwards,
Stunning.
Captain Kerry tells Anthony he loved the dinner. I'm just really glad that it went well for him.
And that they went down and told him. Like
Yeah,
I think that was great that Cap went down and told him that he did a great job because that
definitely.
right there speaks volumes.
Okay, the next day, we fly through the day, water sports, steak and lobster dinner, fire dancer on the beach for the full moon party. Um,
How
yeah,
fun was that?
yeah,
I want to go to a full moon party.
I know it sounds very cool. Down in is it Key Largo or Key West? They have full moon parties. Very fun.
So
Um,
I think them like flying through day
yeah.
two in a montage kind of way might be the new format.
Could be, yeah. It
I
also
mean,
made me think that um something very exciting is going to happen like next episode that they need to spend more time on. So that's why this like group of
Ooh,
charter guests didn't get like 2 episodes, right? Because they just arrived and
I
they're
am
already leaving.
intrigued, Sarah. This
I
is going to
know.
be amazing.
Me too.
Love it.
So the docking does not go well, and Captain Kerry has just no confidence in Kaio at this point.
And I don't think anyone does. I think it's a huge, humongous problem that he doesn't,
Yeah.
that there's no confidence in him.
Yeah, he's really had a lot of chances. So the
Yeah.
guests depart. Very nice people, but yeah, we only got 1 episode with them.
Mm,
Um, very like sweet and classy people. So, and then we have a tip meeting. Very nice tip, 28K. And then
right.
Captain Kerry calls Kaio to the bridge and says, look, mate, you've made too many errors and gotta let you go. So it was definitely
Yeah.
time, maybe a little past time, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. And now we have not seen Captain Carey on the phone with any agencies for replacements. So do you think
Hmm.
he's going to move up Jess and then eventually get a new deckhand? Because I
That's
feel
what
like
I'm
finding a deckhand would be
guessing.
easier than finding a bosun.
Probably. I think that's a good guess. Yeah, and she's
Yeah.
already lead deckhand, so and she's already doing like the calls on the radio and stuff
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. I
She's
mean,
like
she's running that
doing,
show
yeah.
for sure.
So,
Well, let's take a break and we'll come back with Hot Tub Combo. We are getting into that vacation time of year here in the States. That's why I'm stocking up on my favorite Stream to Sea products just in time for summer. Their products are reef safe and highly effective.
Stream to Sea is a woman-owned, veteran-operated company that manufactures all their products right here in the United States. In fact, Stream to Sea has the only mineral-based sunscreen on the planet that's been tested and proven safe for fish and coral.
Whether your adventures take you to the top of a mountain or the bottom of the ocean, Stream to Sea will take care of your skin and our blue planet.
For 10% off your order, go to stream2sea.com and use code above deck. And if you're in Europe, go to stream2sea.net and use the same code above deck. It's time for Hot Tub Convo, where we discuss what's happening with our favorite Below Deck cast members.
So you texted me some exciting news last week. Adam, the deckhand from Down Under season 2, will be in Charleston this summer.
Yes, this is cool. So, Captain Kathleen and her girlfriend Leanne came over this past week, and we were kind of chatting about some upcoming podcast stuff. And
Mhm.
Leanne plays rugby, and she said she heard that Adam from Below Deck was in town, like playing rugby for a couple months this summer. And I know he's a
Wow.
skateboarder, but I didn't know he was a rugby player.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, am I forgetting about an Adam? So I sent her his picture, and she was like, yeah, that's him. It's the one from Down Under, the one that got fired for like letting the anchor go while they were
Yeah.
underway. And
Yeah.
he was such a nice guy. And,
Yeah.
I think everyone was sad, even Captain Jason, about that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I reached out to him and he's living on James Island. He's just a few miles across the island from me.
Oh my gosh.
And so we're gonna have him on the pod here next month.
Awesome. Well, we will have him on the pod in July, which is like days away
I
or
know.
a day away by the time, or it is July by the time you're hearing
By
this.
the time this comes out.
So if you have any questions for Adam, yeah, feel free to get those to us and we'll be sure to ask them.
Yeah, I'm excited. That'll be fun. Okay, now it's time for a charter guest interview. We have adult entertainer Tony Genius joining us today. He was on the charter with Sky Knox and Friends, and Tony is from Chicago. He was a musical theater major, and he got his start in the industry in Atlanta, where he worked as a full-time stripper before going into, his current gig. So
Hmm.
he sent us some information on some work that he's done, and he sent a website called IAFD, which I suspect is like IMDb, but for adult films. And so I mean, I love looking at the titles of adult films.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
these were some that just like piqued my interest. An ass for an A. Are you winning, ho? Bareback Barracks Parts 1 and Part 3. And dorm room dumpsters, opportunity knocks.
Oh dear.
I don't know if we're gonna get into all this, but
Okay, very
anyway,
cool.
please enjoy this interview with Tony Genius. Well, hi Tony, I'm
No.
Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
I'm Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Nice
Thank
to
you so
meet you.
much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we're so excited. I was excited that you reached out. Well, we loved your charter. You guys were so
Yes.
nice and obviously very nice to look at for all of us.
We like
Um,
that. We like that.
Yes.
Definitely. So, did you have a good time overall?
Yes, we had an amazing time. I would say this was the first time that they tried to do a 5-day charter, to see kind of how the team and the crew would do. And they thought that it would be a good idea to try it on, some guys that they thought would be pretty wild and fun and have a lot
Yeah.
of, adventures and things in mind that we wanted to do while we were there. And so I think they held it pretty well. Like as far as what we seen on our side, everything seemed so polished. And then when
Yeah.
you actually see what's happening behind the scenes, you're like, oh man, I didn't know this was going to be like such a shit show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, interesting. Well, I guess that means they were doing their job then, right? If you weren't aware of like any of the drama that was happening.
Yes, they did an amazing job of keeping us unaware of any of those situations. There were a few times that we don't see on the episode, but um, we had a lot of blended drinks, let's say, like, and
Okay.
there was a point where the boat ran out of ice. And so we
Oh,
could hear in the kitchen, like we saw the camera people running into the kitchen, and we're like, what's happening in there? And they're like, we're out of fucking ice. They're like yelling and like, they want blended drinks, cut off the blended drinks.
I could see
And
that happening if we chartered a boat, Kelly. I would want
yeah.
everything blended. I would want all the daiquiris, all the things. So,
yes. I
Absolutely.
started, I think I started the pina colada and daiquiri train. And then everyone was like, you know what? I want that. And I want that. And they were like, should we just start making pictures of it? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And that was their
I,
mistake.
yeah, exactly. I would definitely put that on my preference sheet that I need lots of ice, extra ice, more ice than you think that you need.
Yeah.
So which meal was your favorite that you had on the boat?
Hmm. I would have to say my favorite meal, the chef, the French chef was really amazing. We had no idea that the chef from the UK was leaving. We didn't know why. We just knew
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the day two that he was leaving us, and he was like, thanks for letting me, be here with you
Hmm.
guys. We're like, okay, we don't know what happened, but we'll find out later. But
Yeah.
I really like the steak. I like the Venetian night, where they were acting
Mm.
like this was their time to finally treat guests the way they really kind of want to. And
Yeah.
us being so respectful as guests too, I think it really helped, us be like, hey, let them do this, let them have this moment. We deal
Hmm.
with so much backlash in our industry. We deal with so much, petty crap that for us, it's
Yeah.
nice to finally see, give people an opportunity to treat us in a way that, they can feel inspired and have fun and just really let loose. And this was like that night for them. They were so excited to be able to just be like, shut up, eat your food, and enjoy
Yeah.
what you got in front of you.
Yeah,
It's so
Fraser
funny.
Fraser really stepped right into that role, but we thought it was kind of funny for Anthony because he's just too nice. He just didn't quite know what to say to you guys.
No, he didn't know what to say because he kept cracking up. So like every time he turned around to leave, we would see him start laughing. And we're like, he can't, he's breaking character. He can't do
Yeah.
it.
Hilarious. Tell us about the night kayaking adventure. Was that
Yes.
so magical?
Yeah. So actually that was on my preference sheet. One of the two
Cool.
things that major things that was on my preference sheet was to be able to do like a bioluminescence kind of night
Mm.
ride. And then also jet skis, which, I was on jet skis like every day. But this was a really fun experience for us because they lit up the boats in a way that at night, the biodiversity really is attracted to light. And so underneath our boat, we all had like nice, colorful, bright lights that really attract the fish to come to us. So it
Hmm.
gave us an opportunity, to kind of look into the water and see, sea turtles. I saw squid. I saw some fish, I never seen before.
Hmm.
And it just was a magical experience, to be able to enjoy such an amazing island area experience, like somewhere where I don't think I would ever be if it wasn't for this charter.
Yeah.
And just to kind of see the diversity in the area and
Yeah.
really respecting it and getting to, have that off factor moment.
Yeah. Well, thank you for putting that on your preference sheet because
Yeah.
honestly, it's one of the coolest things we've ever seen on the show. And the way they had like drone shots and it was pure magic. It was very, very cool.
Yeah, I've done a lot of actual bioluminescence style
Hmm.
activities. I went to New Zealand. I did a cave diving. You actually
Ooh,
dive deep
yeah.
into the cave where it's complete darkness and you see all the bioluminescent worms and stuff that
Oh yeah,
are
they
in the
have the
cave.
glowworms there, right? In New
Yeah.
Zealand.
Yes, so I got to do that. That was amazing. And of course, I live off the coast of Los Angeles over here, California. And
Hmm.
every once in a while, especially this time of the year right now, we have a huge biodiversity, like where these algae or something come up to the surface and towards the beach head, and it
Hmm.
just looks like bright blue in the middle of the night.
Like on the
Ooh.
beach or like offshore.
Off on the water, like not even that
Oh,
deep in the water. Like
so
you can see
cool.
all the different levels of it. So that's like happening right now in LA. It's like a big thing that, people come and
I
want to be
didn't
a
know
part of.
that. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Wow.
My background is in marine biology, so you are like really speaking my language.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. My partner actually always wanted to be a marine biologist. She's
Oh yeah,
certified in scuba diving. We've done scuba
cool.
diving at the Great Barrier Reef in Australia.
Hmm.
Oh,
So amazing.
Awesome. And are you a diver as well?
I'm not certified to dive. I just did the introductory course so that I
Okay,
can dive
gotcha.
to a certain amount of meters. But she can do full, like, go on full adventures, hours long.
wow.
I'm not allowed to do all that yet. But
Yeah.
I was very afraid. I get claustrophobic when I can't breathe
Hmm.
out of my nose. And so when
Gotcha.
I'm heavily rely on my mouth, I thought it would be so hard. But because the oxygen they give you is like, it's so empowering, like more than just breathing air normally that I
Yeah.
felt so secure and safe when I actually got into the water. I was like,
Oh,
wow,
good.
this is a lot easier than I thought. I can breathe and I'm not like feeling like, oh God, I'm not getting enough breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
kind of
neat.
like it's a mind thing for people when they're first learning. But I feel more in control and like I think it's easier than snorkeling. Like snorkeling, I feel so vulnerable at the surface and you're having to breathe through that little tube.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's easier. So,
Yeah,
well,
I prefer to snorkel, but I hate it because yeah, it's the same. I can't go down and actually like enjoy what I want to.
yeah, you want to like
Um,
get down there.
yeah, so like now I'm into it. Now I would totally get certified and start diving, in other
Oh,
places.
cool. Okay, well, keep us posted on your scuba diving adventures.
Please do. Yeah.
Did you, when you guys were on the nude beach, did you see the reaction of that couple that was sitting there?
We saw, so obviously for television's sake and all that kind of stuff, everyone kind of has to agree that it's okay that we are there filming in the
Okay.
nude. So it's like,
Okay.
because they'll blur their faces out. Obviously, you won't know their identities, but they had to
Right.
go to every person on the beachhead, every couple, every person,
Uh-huh.
whatever, and say, "Hey, we're filming a television show. These guys are going to be butt naked running around the beach. Are you guys okay with this?" And
Hmm.
they're like, "Yeah, sure, it's fine." I mean, it's a nude beach, so obviously we could
Right.
be, but because cameras are involved, they just want
Hmm.
to make sure everybody's comfortable with what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought that
so
was
we
really
totally
funny.
saw the reactions. As soon as we got naked, it was like everybody staring and looking like, oh, what the?
Yeah, I thought that was so funny. And yeah, I had that same thought. I'm like, their faces aren't blurred. These people said it's okay to like film us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah. So they made sure that, the people that were okay, with being on the camera,
hmm.
like we're gonna pan around, there's gonna be drone shots, you're gonna be seeing. And yeah,
Yeah.
some people were like, sure, I don't care.
Yeah,
Love it.
I
I
loved
love
it. It
it.
was great. Like, it was comedy. Like, it was really good. Like, their
I
reactions.
thought too, what they could have really done with that moment is done like the Top Gun moment, right? We all like, have us
Mhm.
playing and doing all that kind of stuff in slow motion. I thought that was really good to kind of
Yeah.
show all the bodies and that
Hmm.
the muscles, all that kind of stuff. I think that definitely
Yeah.
added an intrigue to what we were doing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Earlier in this season, we've been complaining about the slow-mo, like raw egg shots and things that they're doing. But then when you guys came on board, we're like, okay, we're good with
Slow
the
shots of
sunscreen
like
application, the like
our asses,
pull-ups.
like every once in a
Oh,
while,
yeah.
there's just ass. It's like, whoop, there it
Is
is.
it?
Perfect. Yeah, we were all in on that. So,
Yeah.
so Kelly, you wanted to ask the loaded question on this.
Yeah. This is the question everyone's been asking. So, Tony, what was your take on the response from everyone on socials around the tip amount?
What's interesting for me is, I don't know, reality TV is reality TV, right? And so in some
Hmm.
form or way, they'll never make you look perfect, right? There's no
Right.
reason to make us look polished and perfect. I
Yeah.
think that we had such a good charter. We didn't have all the drama between us and the staff. It was mostly staff induced, trauma and drama.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I think what we were advised, let me say this from production and all that stuff, was this was the kind of tip that should be, given, right? And so
Okay.
we're like, okay, cool. This is the amount of money it costs. Here's a percentage of the tip that you guys say that we should do. And then
Mhm.
here's what ends up. Now, I mean, I have a background in the service industry. I was, a server for years and years. I went into moving into managing restaurants. And then from there, I moved into quitting corporate and being like, I want to go into working for myself. And so I totally understand tipping culture. I totally understand how important it is to take care of people. I just think unbeknownst to us, we thought what we were giving was appropriate. And we weren't really guided any further on that. And so from what, this was filmed more than a year ago. So, obviously what come out now, we knew that at some point, in some way, in this form, they're not going to make us just look like we're so good. There's got to be drama. There's got to add something.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's more like, okay, we ride the wave and, see what happens. Like I've gone out and said, hey, this isn't even like the worst thing that I've gotten. Like I had Us Weekly write a blog about the caught on the hot mic, me talking about, some sexual things that happened on the first night.
Yes.
And I got some real backlash from that. And even some family members like, I'm never watching anything you're doing again. Because
gosh.
they thought just some people don't understand, some sexual kinks and things like that. So, for me, that was more of the thing that people were like really attacking me about. Honestly, like the tip amount, we should have done more. And, obviously what was put out there makes us look bad, right? It makes us look like we don't understand how to take care of people. And that's just not true. We have years and years of experience with dealing with people, and so many people love us for what we do. And so what we came onto the show to provide was to show another side of like what porn stars are, and show that we could be lovable and fun and engaging and and sweet at the same time. But we're not just these porn dogs that just have to have sex 24/7 and down and out on our luck, all these other things that a lot of people think of, this business. And so what I think in the long run, yes, there was a little bit of shade there when it comes to the tip, but overall, I think most people enjoyed the experience and still feel like our charter has set it apart from so much other experiences and other charters that maybe they'll do more stuff like this. Maybe they'll create more of a not safe for work environment in the safe for work space. And that's honestly what we really want to do. We want to humanize what we do. We want to humanize our culture and our careers. And from this experience, I'll say, at least for myself, it's created a really big PR push for me. I got offered a documentary series to start my own television, show.
Cool.
And I'll start filming that in London, hopefully in August. I'll start my pilot presentation. I'm actually also in talks with meeting up with a few of the guys from the boat while I'm in the UK, and just like going over and partying and hanging out and just showing too, like I have that moment to be able to talk to them about it, and document that, but then also show them that, hey, look, we're all friends. We all understood the experience. They were very happy with us, and they still stay connected with us even afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's awesome. I do have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So it was $19,990. Why not do like an extra 10 to make it an even 20? I'm just curious.
The only thing I can say is, like I said, what we were advised to pay is more than what was shown on that television. So I don't know what happened in between. I don't know if more money went somewhere else to other production. I don't know, or something behind the scenes. We do pay other people too. So I don't know how they decided to divvy the money. That's out of my hands. I was there to have a good time and be naked. And just experience it all. We have some amazing content coming out of that too. Like we've been holding it.
Wait, I might have to join OnlyFans so I can like see some of this stuff. Where will people be able to watch some of the content that you guys created during the charter?
Yeah, so we were sponsored and are working with Cam4. Cam4 is, like Chatterbait or one of these other sort of major chatting and streaming and camming site. And so what we're going to do for the next 2 months is we're going to have 2-hour live streams explaining each episode, just really engaging with our fans and coming together and just kind of doing like a tell all of our experiences. And so people should be able to start looking forward to that on all of our websites. As far as for me, everything that I do goes through tonygenius.com, and I'll have all my links to all of those things. And we'll continue to promote it on our social media apps. And make sure that everybody knows, all the events of when we'll be getting together to keep pushing it. Keep pushing the show. Give people a chance to ask questions and get to know us more too, while having a chance to cam with us and see us in private and all that fun stuff. So
yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, it's been really fun for us to learn about what you guys do. I mean, everybody watches porn, so
yeah,
to get to actually talk to you, this has been really fun and exciting, and kind of hear about your behind the scenes stuff. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, stay in touch too.
Yes, please
absolutely.
do.
I'll definitely stay in touch, and anything that I'm doing, I'll make sure I tag you guys. So you
Okay,
want to promote
sounds
it,
good.
that has to do with the show and everything too, with Below Deck as we go forward. So we can stay up to date on everything that's happening.
Okay,
That's awesome.
Sounds good. Stay in touch and tell Sky and everybody else that we said hi.
Yes, I will. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Kelly.
Okay.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
It's time for our segment, Join Me in the Wheelhouse, where we decide who needs to see Captain Kerry for a stern talking to. Sarah, who do you call to the wheelhouse and why?
Well, one last time, I'm gonna call Kaio, obviously. I thought about calling Rainbow because of the whole forced interaction with Celine, but then I just felt bad because she was just trying to connect,
Yes.
It was awkward, but I don't think it wasn't meant to be bad. It just
No,
didn't land.
it's just weird.
Yeah, so all right, Kaio, I think you've been up here all season. I think this might be a record that we've called the same person every single time.
5 times in a row. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Above Deck. Thank you to our team at Hurrdat. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Brock. Please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to tell a friend. And please rate and review us 5 stars only. There's only 138 days until BravoCon.
Yay! Please follow us on Instagram at Above Deck Pod, and you can email us at abovedeckpod@gmail.com. You can also watch our episodes on the Hurrdat Entertainment YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm Kelli Busbey.
And I'm Sarah Goldman. We'll see you next week.